Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Game Informer Show, a weekly video game podcast releasing every Thursday and Friday. I am your host, Alex Stadnick, and we are reviewing, recapping, regaling, regretting the Halo series. Episode 8, Allegiance. This episode is a better episode than last week, but we'll get into it. But first, let's introduce the panel. The EIC, rocking a new camera angle, is here. Andrew Reiner. Hello, sir.
Yeah!
Coming at you. This is MTV.
How's it going?
It's good. It's good. I'm more curious about what you got in the background there. You got like a rated version of Saga.
Yeah, issue 1 is Saga. It's
Wow.
a 9.6, and then a little She-Hulk, and Something is Killing the Children, and then E.T.
Is that the video game?
Yeah, signed by Howard Scott Warshaw.
Yeah. Howard's great. We had him on the podcast in the Reeves era. He's awesome. So,
Cool.
And then Ryan Shea, also here. Hello, the new online content director of Game Informer. Hello, welcome.
Thanks. I am tempered to be here.
Congratulations on the promotion. That's exciting for you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well deserved. And do you have anything signed by Howard at all in your basement?
No, but I do have a Master Chief helmet signed by Steve Downs.
Okay,
Whoa.
that's really cool.
Yeah, the one that I had on, I guess, like episode 2 or 3 or whatever. I brought the helmet on. It was signed by Steve Downs, voice of Master Chief.
And I forgot to mention our new guest here, Bruce Campbell, de-aged, is here as well. Bruce, how are you? Reiner, that's your cue. Do a Bruce voice.
Hail to the king, baby.
Yeah, that's pretty good. For those of you who've stuck around through this intro, we are reviewing episode 8 of the Halo series, the penultimate episode of the season 1, right? Not the series, unfortunately, but I think we made some progress this week. I didn't hate my life watching it, right? We refocused on Chief and Mickey and what's going on in Reach, and I think the show was better for it, but it took some wild turns that we'll get into. But I guess before we get it kicked off here, Reiner, we'll start with you. Did you like this week's episode? Was this a better episode? What did you think?
I thought it was better than last week, as most things are.
Yes.
But I still think this is it wasn't a good episode. I thought it was in kind of the loss column. I think their batting average, they're 2 for 6. That's not good in the world of TV shows. It's good for baseball.
I was going to say, it's still 300, yeah.
Or 2 for 8, so they're 2 wins, 6 losses, basically. I can't believe what they're doing with the human element of this show. And it's just such a betrayal of what Halo is. Like, they're like, what do we like about Halo? We like the concept of space and sci-fi.
Yep.
We like your suit designs.
Yep.
We like some of your weapon sounds. We like some of your weapon sounds and stuff, and your kind of general like vibe of like the warring nations within space. But that's it. We're gonna do our own thing outside of that.
Right. Yeah. They seem to be cherry picking a lot here. But Shay, what did you think of this episode?
I overall liked it, actually. There was some weirdness along the way, but I think I like the direction we're going. I think that the ending was actually pretty good. And again, some weirdness, but we eventually got somewhere interesting. And I was actually kind of like bummed out when like it cut to credits at the end of this one, because I was like, oh, what's going to happen now? But that's the first time I think in series history that I've felt that way.
Wow.
So I think that's kind of like the mark that this was an effective episode, even if it took some detours.
Right. And I do think I think I'm more Shay with Shay on this. I do think I liked the episode, but I think the things that I didn't like definitely overshadow like the good, which, the internet took it upon themselves to spoil for me yesterday. But let's get into it. I'm with Shay. I think there's some good here as well. But so we start no flashback this time, folks. We got them. We got rid of them. We're done. They save it for later in the episode. But Chief and Mickey are come out of their vision, right? They're dealing with that connection that the artifact has given them, right? They take a walk through a park, beautiful Reach Park. Chief is kind of showing her that humanity can be good.
That's what all first dates are, right?
Yeah, re-sparking the light of humanity, unless it's a bad first date. I don't know. But Chief also, like, I think gets the idea that she is with the Covenant at this point, because she's like talking about the prophecy with such passion, but he's like, nah, I don't care. Like, I don't know what, like, maybe I'm misinterpreting that scene, but so all the while they're walking through the park, UNSC are following them, but also Halsey has her eyes on Halsey has been kind of decommissioned, right? She's been she's getting a lab to go work in, right? But she's off the Spartan program, but she's still, Halsey is a control freak. She does not let things go easily, so she still has her hands in all of this. So and I still think she is the best actress, or the best actor in this whole thing. I think she has done some fantastic work with Halsey, and I think
she's awesome.
Really the highlight of the episode for me personally. So we cut to then, I don't know, do you guys have any thoughts on that, or can I keep recapping here?
Go for it.
All right. We find that the Covenant they're starting, we finally see them glassing a planet, right? Or the ending effects of it, right? They're in the UNSC base. They see a video from, I can't remember what planet it was, but 11 million people gone within an hour, just completely molten rock. And it's like, okay, here we go. We're finally seeing the devastation that the Covenant can bring. Like, let's get it going here. And then Chief is like, hey, you know that person I think is part of the Covenant, but I have the hots for, and I'm like connected with her mentally. Let's let her tell us where the Covenant are, in a move that I'm like, bro, like, what are you thinking? Like, what, I understand y'all are desperate, but like, this choice just didn't make any sense to me. I know the point is like he's more feeding off of his emotions, right? But it's like, this is dumb. Like, this is a dumb choice. I don't know, Shay, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, there were several times where I was like, this is not a choice that Master Chief would have made.
Right.
And that's like, that was almost exactly that. Like, it was like, this is like Master Chief, they turned him into an idiot, basically.
Yeah.
And like, it's perfectly exemplified by like the opening scene where he's just blankly staring into the mirror and drawing a circle. It's just like, what's wrong with this guy?
Shay, he's seen some stuff, man. He's seen the Pacific Northwest, but in alien form. It's crazy. Reiner, how about you?
I can't really add anything on top of that. It's, yeah, I just don't know. They're just meandering with conflict within these characters. Are they on the good side? Are they bad? Or are they rogue? Like, what's going on with their dedication to their craft and all that stuff? And I don't know.
We did get one scene with Kai, which I laughed at. I thought it was fun. Her, like, they're like, where's Kai? Like, is she okay? And like, it's her like lifting heavy things with the fellas, right?
It was
like,
awesome. Yeah, I like that sequence.
I like Kai a lot. I think she has grown into one of my favorite characters. And I wish they would give her more to work with. I think that's where we're going, right? Towards the end of this episode. And
she kicked a table.
Yes, she did.
What is with Master Chief keeping Cortana secret to Mickey Mackey? Like, I don't understand.
Is it a secret?
She's watching them have sex, like.
That's so awkward. Hold on, we'll get to that. I promise we'll get to that.
Recording data.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a second here, but we'll keep going. So, we're at the scene. Chief tells the soldiers to leave Daddy's home, and they start caressing each other, start touching each other's scars, and it's on. And Master Chief gets ladies apparently in this version of Halo.
They've fallen for each other. It's such a sweet moment.
I love that 2 weeks ago or a week ago, I was like, brother and sister connection right here. Like, that's what we had that conversation. Yeah.
We don't know for sure.
Oh, I hate that. Yeah. But yeah, all the while, so they're having sex, like getting it on. Marvin Gaye's playing in the background, and then Cortana's just watching in the background. What was the point of having her there for that?
She's always there.
The whole point is she's realizing what Chief, how Chief's different and what he has to lose, and she's starting to I don't know, change her programming, to be on his side and not, just a weapon that could turn him off, right?
Right. Yeah.
Or keep him in line, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say she was there when he was turned on, that's for sure.
Hey.
Yeah, Shay, I don't know. Do you have any comments on this?
At this point, like in the series where I've already given up hope of like getting loyal representations of these characters, I'm saying I'm so happy they went this route because screw it, why not? Like we've seen like the directions they're going with so many characters and so many dumb decisions that like I think that might be why I enjoyed this episode so much. So I've already given up on like if Master Chief was just a loyal representation of the video game character, like never took off his helmet, never took off his armor, and then we got this episode, I would be furious. But like at this point, I've already given in to the fact, I've conceded that this is just a different Master Chief. This is a different Halo universe. And I'm like, sure, why not? If we're gonna do interesting stuff with it eventually, which I think that the ending of the episode eventually did pay off this scene. I think that it's fine, whatever. It's not the Master Chief that we know, but it's a different representation of the character in a different universe.
And that's why, and to that point too, I keep thinking, and I think I said this a couple weeks ago, but it's like, if this was just focused on a random group of Spartans, like I feel like this show I would like this show a lot more, even though the writing's bad. Like, like there's still some bad elements to this show, no matter what. But like, if you just take the fact that this is Chief, like the Spartan we grew up with, I think a lot of this works better. But because like, I don't know, like Spartans are human, right? They have emotions, they have feelings, even though they're programmed to not, right? I think that's more interesting than like taking a very like stone cold character, right? Like people know Master Chief. If you know Halo, you know Master Chief, and like trying to put your own artist, your creative spin on him. I don't know. It just feels I think it could have worked much better with different Spartans and people we don't know. And I'm sure someone in the comments is going to say, well, in Halo comic 348, Chief thought about having sex or had sex with someone. Like, I'm sure there's going to be something lore wise we don't know, but like, it just, none of that feels in line with John from the games. Sorry, Shay.
No, I was just like, basically, a lot of the time I've been thinking about this, like ever since you brought up, like this would make more sense if it was just a different group of Spartans or somebody not Master Chief. This would almost make more sense if it was Commander Shepard in the Mass Effect universe. And like, we're telling this exact same story minus maybe Cortana,
right?
But like all this story about like, the change Spartan for Spectre or whatever. And it's like, all right, this would make so much more sense. There's a romance story behind it and everything. But like, because it's Master Chief, he carries so much more baggage of like the expectations that we have for him to kind of be like, not a mindless killing machine, but like an emotionless killing machine.
And like I said a couple weeks ago, like, Chief, there is an evolution in Chief, especially in Infinite, where he is a bit more feeling of a character, or it will let on to his emotions more. And I don't need him stoic saying only a few words, but there's a line there, right? You can walk where like, Chief almost feels like a father figure by the end of the Halo game series, right? With 4, 5, and Infinite, and like that's what I was looking for more, of not like the, what we're getting in this show, but I feel like there's ways to convey emotion without going too far either way.
So. When I interviewed Steve Downs, I guess a decade ago now, probably about a decade ago, I asked him about like the characteristics of Chief, and the way he described him, like the inspiration was kind of like an old Clint Eastwood character where he's a man of few words, but when he shows up, like something's about to go down. And when he speaks up, that's even more impactful because he speaks so little. And that was kind of like what he was going for, almost like it was a space cowboy almost.
Right. Yeah. No, and you can feel it, and I like that, and that's a totally different direction than the show has taken. And I'm with you, Shay. I'm trying to get my brain there where it's like it's cliche and fanboy to be like, not my Master Chief, but it's like it's a different interpretation. Doesn't have to land for everyone.
It could be where the games eventually go. Like we've had Chief for decades. Maybe they go in this direction at some point, like really freeing him up and showing who he is as a human. But I mean, for the show, we didn't get anything with the Spartans up until, we had one battle until he started to become a human, right? And then,
Right.
It's just the rest is history. And, they're tying in the origin of the Halo with it. If this was a snapshot later, I would be able to stomach it a little more. Or if they said this builds off of Infinite, as much as we wouldn't like it, it's
right.
Or we'd be like, wow, this is a departure from the games, but it is a different storytelling medium. I get that. I agree with Shay to a degree. Like, you got to kind of divorce the games from this, but at the same time, it's just these character motivations are all over the place. There's these side stories that we just groaned through. It has some problems outside of just the Halo license.
100%. Yeah, and I don't even want to invoke the other characters from the previous episode. They're
coming back next episode. Don't worry.
Anyways, so Chief and Mickey do the thing. Chief is sleeping. Mickey changes her allegiance in this moment, right? She takes out really gross sounding, like the sound editing there was really gross. She pulls out the knife that she had, basically symbolizing she's with Chief now. She is part of humanity. Like she's good to go for Team UNSC.
Is that basically like a little like mini plasma sword? That's what it looks like, right?
Right. Yeah, it's probably similar tech that they just adapted to her finger to make it so that she can, murder him in his sleep. I think that was the plan, right? But yeah, so now that's gone. That's down a drain somewhere. And yeah, she's Team USA, or not Team USA, Team UNSC at this point. So, we go from there to let's see. So Keys shows up at Halsey's apartment now, thinking they're gonna have a little chit chat. But he basically tells her she's done. Like, she is out of the program. She is not helping. Like, get you're off base by noon tomorrow. I think he said
you're off planet.
Yeah,
that's like their solution. Like, just get off our planet. You're done.
Yeah, go.
It's so dumb. It's like, what? Wait, okay. Hold on. I gotta find a new place to live, and nope.
Right.
You're off planet tomorrow.
Yeah, I've been told I'm off planet a couple of times.
Yeah, I've heard Madrigal's lovely this time of year. Shay, you should probably check it out. There's water there now.
And a compelling storyline featuring two of our favorite characters.
Yes, we're not naming them. Yeah, so this really sends Halsey into full demon mode. She knows she has limited time before they crack down on her. So now she is taking matters into her own hands in one of the better pieces of acting in this section too, where she just tells Keys, like, this is on the blood's on your hands too, my guy. Like, I'm not alone in this madness. And he's like, he questions, he's like, what would stop you or something like that? And she's like, literally nothing. I will stop at nothing to evolve the species. Because it's not about, as we've seen in previous stuff, and especially in this episode, it's not about saving humanity. It's about evolving them and growing them into more of a superpower than they are right now. And she wants the Halo and the artifacts to do just that. But I was also confused too, because and maybe I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but she's like, and maybe she was just trying to appeal to Mickey in the message, but she says something along the lines of Halo's a weapon, and if UNFC use it, that's it for everyone. But also she wants to use it to evolve the species, and I don't understand what she sees in it outside of it being a weapon. I don't know. I didn't get that. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that.
I don't know, but there's no way that Halsey survives next week, right?
I mean, it depends. Are they going to make her the main antagonist along with the Covenant?
Oh yeah, I think that's a pretty good call. Yeah.
I think
you're going to have a threat from both sides still.
Right, and Chief and well, no, not Make, but we'll get to it. We keep jumping ahead. So, Halsey, let's see. Oh, okay, so not too far ahead. Halsey then hollow messages Mickey and ruins everything, right? She starts to put doubt into her mind. She talks about humanity as this scourge that will continue to hurt and be selfish and stuff like that. And to her credit, Mickey tries to stop it and turn it off and not listen to it, right? But yeah, so it's see, that's the moment where it's like, okay, Halsey really can be the villain if they choose to go that route. And I'm actually here for that storyline. I think that could be really interesting, especially like with John's mom issues with her, right? Having to balance those two will be interesting, because Halsey in the games, at least, I can't speak to all the novels and comic books and stuff, like, she was, I feel like we only ever really heard of her evil, right? We didn't see it play out a ton. We just saw her as especially in like 4, 5, and, well, not Infinite, but 4 and 5, it was like she was pulling the strings, but she wasn't doing necessarily anything like truly reprehensible in those games, where now it's like, oh, maybe we'll get to see this firsthand, and we do to a certain extent in this. So I don't know. Any thoughts on that exchange between the two on the hollow message?
It was fine.
Yeah.
Like it was, like I get it. Like it served the purpose of sowing the seeds of doubt in Mickey's mind, and yeah, obviously that paid off too.
Yeah, well, it did. I think that's what's hard on a large scale with this show, right? We've talked so many times about these scenes feeling like they're just serving the purpose of pushing the storyline ahead, instead of actually being like feeling meaningful. Like that's great writing, is when like you can push the story ahead, right, without like feeling that, like, oh, this is now the motivation. Like, I get it. Like, okay, it's like drawn out for you. Instead, like, I want to see it like lived on the screen, right? I know I'm not watching Breaking Bad or Barry, which everyone should watch on HBO. But it's just, it feels hollow sometimes in that way. And it was a hologram, so I guess that makes sense. So yeah, go ahead, Renner.
Oh no, I kind of agree with, again, everything you're saying here. It's, again, it just goes back and forth though. Like I get they're trying to create tension for the viewer and just kind of sow doubt in your mind about what could be happening next. But it's tiring. It really is.
It's a tennis match, but with bad tennis players. Like, Reiner, if you and I went out there and like, had a match in front of Wimbledon, and be like, I see the volley, but it's not that great. Like, what's happening here? Are you an expert tennis player, Reiner?
I'm not.
Okay.
I can hit it hard, just not accurate. Yeah.
Okay. I don't even know if I can hit it hard. That would be quite the scene. So, feeling as though she has been fully put in a box here, Halsey activates her Spartan sleeper agents, basically. The two, because it's Kai, Chief, Vanek, and Rhea. The two who haven't taken their emotional pellets out. She tells them, my orders supersede anything else that you're going to get. We are going to stop Chief and Mickey before they access the artifact and signal. And, I don't know if she knows at that point that it would signal the Covenant, or I think she just wants the control of it, right? She wants it because she's getting on her ship. Keyes left her a ship, which is, I don't understand that. It was his one last, like, love ya, or used to love ya. But her plan is to grab the ship, it sounds like fully control John, take Mickey, and take the artifact for her own purposes so that she can evolve the species. And has some more action. We finally get some more action here, and the stakes are very high, right? It is the season, or the sequence now, where John and Mickey are going to the artifact. The Spartans are laying a trap for them. They have Kai with them initially, but due to her readings, right, Kai gets taken out. Basically, she gets,
they punched her in the coconut.
Yeah. Oh, they took her out real quick. And they tie her or they handcuff her to like a sink or whatever it was. And then all the while, Cortana is, you can tell, visibly upset, not wanting to partake in Halsey's games here. But Halsey still believes Cortana is loyal to her, as we find out not the case, which is why it's called Allegiance, the episode. But
honestly, that was a pretty good moment. Was Cortana's like turn to be like, all right, Chief, you need to like listen to me. Like, and Chief wanted no part of it at first,
right?
But he eventually listened to her, and like she got his attention, and like she showed that she's loyal to him more than she's loyal to Halsey.
Right, and she saves his life. And at a couple of points. But while this is going on, before they the battle of the episode, the climax of the episode happens. Excuse me, I'm trying not to burp. All right, we're good. Miranda, who has been trying to decode this Sanheili message for weeks. I don't know how long time has gone on in the show, right? But she's trying to figure out what this message is. She finally realizes it is indeed Mickey who sent that message. So she knows that Mickey is on the Covenant take, right? She knows she's a bad guy, right? Which ends up not working in their favor. But so Cortana stops them, right? It's like, yo, you're walking into a trap, like, trust me. And then the fight begins. Chief takes on the other two Spartans in a pretty solid fight. You're still seeing the power of the Spartans in that armor, right? Chief is powerful, but even he can't withstand the sheer force of two Spartans in that armor. He sends Mickey off to tell Keyes and the other commanding officers that bad stuff's happening. Halsey has turned, like we need to save the artifact here. What do you guys think of the fight, Reiner? We can start with you.
I thought it was good. I mean, I liked Chief's agility, dodging the punches, just using weights and all that stuff as weapons, because he's out of his armor. Surprise, surprise. He's that way most of the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it had a good superhuman kind of feel to it, like you want, punching through pillars and all that stuff, knocking them flying into a metal wall and it dents. I like that, like they're throwing down and they're trying to kill him. They're really trying to kill him. And then really they're trying to kill him until they're not.
Right.
But also we got to see Cortana kind of come into her own as like telling Chief like what's going on and like being kind of like his right-hand woman on the battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
Like saying like, oh, Chief, 6:00.
Right.
Like that kind of brought a smile to my face, like having her like give him heads up on the battlefield.
Yeah.
She even got a punch in with a warthog.
Oh yeah,
turned it on.
Yeah, it was great.
I didn't know you could do that. Yeah.
I actually would not mind that being like an ability in the game, like being able to like remotely activate like different vehicles and stuff.
Yeah,
there's warnings about hacking Teslas and stuff like that. You got to be careful. You can't do self-driving cars because of hackers, and we saw why. Like,
Can you imagine in Big Team Battle and Infinite if you could hack someone's Warthog and just send them off the side of the map for a triple kill?
Idea. Yeah.
I like that
idea. To the game, 343. Yeah.
Yeah, you listened to 343?
There's something from the show we'll gladly take in.
Yeah. I saw they put some emblems and stuff in Infinite this week, and I was like, okay, that's not what I want, but that's okay. It's cool.
It's a monkey paw because we're gonna get the ability to like hack vehicles and everything, but then all Spartans are just running around without their helmets on. And
right.
look exactly like Pablo Schreiber.
And I want the easiest mini game of all time is removing a little chip or something from your back. And it's just like press X. It's just like,
I hope that after you do that, after every time you kill another character, your character just breaks down and cries. God, what have I done?
It's just like taking off a hangnail. It's just like, whatever. Okay, I'm human.
I love it.
So all the pain I've caused.
Yeah. Yeah. So Kai jumps back in, right? She frees herself and comes to Chief's aid, which was great. She, like I said, Kai for MVP. And then all the while, Mickey gets to the artifact, right? Keyes and the rest of the squad are there. They turn on her because Miranda brings the news that it was indeed Mickey who murdered all the UNSC people. So it's like, rightfully so. She's not good news, but also it's like, of course, this is when she was finally team humanity, right? And all the prophets were true, right? The humanity is bad. Halsey was right. And she's like, well, screw y'all. Like, it's on now. And fries the soldier who's hated her the entire time. She touches the artifact and basically signals to the Covenant where Reach is, I would presume.
That's what it seems like.
Because at this point, I don't think the Covenant know where the homeworld is. So setting the stage for the ultimate battle for the finale, right? Now it's maybe. Well,
no, it's actually going to be another Quan and Soren episode.
Can you imagine we have to wait another year and a half for the culmination
please.
there?
Do it. Oh yeah, we got the well. Like they got to get to the well.
It's
Oh,
like, yeah, it's a whole episode of them, and then she finally makes it at the end. He's like, we got to get to the Halo. It's like, what? We couldn't see any of that before? Oh my goodness. We wouldn't do the finale. I would just cancel it. Like, we wouldn't review it.
so
Yeah,
when
so
she's
I mean,
talking to him at the Halo, like, what is her motivation there now?
it's
Like,
the classic, like, I love you, but I have to fight you thing, right? That's the thing. It's like it was her one last goodbye before she glasses the planet, and hopefully him along with it from her perspective, right?
Yeah, I thought that scene was actually really well done. Like, I liked that, like, he was just suddenly like, oh, why am I back here? And then she's just like, goodbye, John. And then that was it. He's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least you did that for him.
I mean, they did this to themselves. How trusting they were from the second they had this person that they couldn't trust. It's
Yeah.
just like she's just walking around their base, like
Right.
Also,
nice
what
little
happened?
apartment.
What happened to all the hunter worms?
They're just chilling in space, mate. Well, they had to send, the Covenant had to send her alone,
Like
right?
she escaped and then they fired upon her.
Yeah.
Like somehow she escaped and then they just took one last shot as they were flying away and she's like, make it look good.
Yeah.
So she's like, I escaped, I'm human, and then like I said, the light switch on and off.
Well, and here's the thing too, like, Miranda is a smart person, right? She's a doctor. She's like 17 and she's already a doctor. I don't know how old she is in the show, but like, you have this language, right? You've been able to decipher most of the elite's speech, right? And then you conveniently have this person who was stuck with the Covenant for years, she says. Wouldn't you think to make that connection at some point? You're like, maybe we should see if this is a traitor. That sounds a little different. Maybe we can find this out a lot quicker than what we did earlier, right? It's just...
Yeah. And just an x-ray scan of her body. Just
right.
The most basic, like, hey, let's just make sure
there's
a bomb on her. Yeah.
Right.
What do you got going on there?
Yeah. Oh, it's an energy sword. Okay. Yeah. You're not on the up and up here, my friend. Yeah. So, like, I will say, like, jokes aside, like, if they glass reach, I'm excited. Like, that could be a really cool episode. But like, I'm worried it's gonna get Shakespearean, right? And like, it's gonna be the focus of the love lost between Chief and Mickey, where it's like, just give me the freaking Halo. Like, we're almost there. I think maybe not. Maybe it's the end shot of the series is Halo, but
it's gonna be the post-credit scene of season 2.
Oh no,
we're gonna have I have the high ground moment with Chief on the high ground and her below, and he's gonna have to sacrifice her, like he's gonna have to take her out, and
he'll be emotionally scarred for
what if
he'll be.
Wait, what if the season ends him taking Mickey out, and then he's so emotionally distraught he reinstalls the inhibitor, and then season 2 sets us up with a better Chief?
I like it. I actually like that. That's where it should go. Yeah,
he's
and
like,
then it's
I don't want to feel things anymore. Like,
and then he has glue, and he's gluing his helmet on so it never comes off again. Just a welding torch. Yeah.
Gorilla Glue is the only modern day tech that made it to 25.
It's a sponsored thing in the show. Yeah.
Yeah. So are you guys?
I like that.
Yeah, that's good. Reiner, let's start with you. Are you excited?
Oh, he'll put in 2. He put in 2 of them.
We get emo Chief. He's listening to My Chemical Romance as he's slaying,
listening to Something in the Way by Nirvana. I like it. Reiner, excited for next episode? Yeah or nay?
Yeah, I know I'm the most down on it. But I just, I guess I kind of called it, and I've been bracing for it this whole time.
Right.
Not to pat myself on the back, but that was a warning. It was like,
I
hope it doesn't go this way, and it did. So I've just kind of been disappointed that it went the direction I feared. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm still excited. I like some of the things they're doing, some of the action, obviously really well done. The budget through the roof, and yeah, I hope Brian's right. I hope he puts in the inhibitor again, and he's Chief for season 2 and on.
Though, I don't know how through the roof the budget really is, because I think that's why we haven't seen too much of the Covenant. I think that they cost a lot of money to animate.
Yeah, just the sets, the cityscapes, when they have action or aliens, I think it's pretty well done.
For sure.
This episode probably on the lower end of the budget spectrum, right?
Right. We had a couple shots of like reach and that kind of stuff, but yeah, nothing overly crazy. I'm wondering if it's an average, right? Because I think they spent like $2-3 million an episode or something like that. I wonder if they like average the cost out over the 9 episodes. Because I would imagine we hopefully get a Covenant heavy episode next episode with them hopefully sieging Reach.
That was it for the budget, huh? I thought it'd be a lot more than that. Because what is Stranger Things for season 4? Isn't it like 30 million an episode or something crazy, like that?
Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's 10 million an episode. I know one of these bigger budget shows is 10 million an episode. It may be Halo. It
Lord of the Rings?
Maybe it's Lord of the Rings. I know 40 Lord of the Rings is now
like
that's the most expensive show ever.
Yeah, Stranger Things is 30 million an episode for season 4, but they're 30? Double the length. Each episode's like double the length. Let me see what Halo is.
Yeah. Are they each going to be like an hour and a half long? I don't know if I'm excited for Stranger Things yet. I feel like that was a time and place. You are? Okay.
Yeah. I like that show a lot.
I've loved every season, right? But it felt like it's been so long that it's hard to like regain the hype a little bit. But maybe that's just
reportedly 10 million per episode.
Okay. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see if they justify that next week. So, Shay, excited for the finale, yeah or nay?
I am looking forward to the episode like for the first time in a long while. Like I think that we're going to get at least an action heavy stretch of this show. And I am excited to see how some of these threads actually tie up. So yeah, this is probably the most excited I've been for a new episode since episode 1.
Okay, cool. I like it. I like the positivity. I'm excited for it. And this may sound cynical. I promise it's not. Like I'm excited for it in the way that this is coming to an end too, right? Like, and hopefully better things are on the horizon. But this has been, like I said, one of my favorite parts of this has been talking with both of you and Alex for one episode, and Kate for another.
He bailed right away.
Yeah, he was out, man. He was not digging it. But I'm excited to see this because they've proven that the action sequences with the Covenant can be great, right? So I'm excited to see that. And if it means season 2 is more focused on a Halo story that we know, or at least being on Halo, I'm here for it. So I don't know if we're going to do an in review of it, but this is the first experiment in that, and we shall see. But be sure to tune in next week. We will have the final episode review locked and loaded for y'all, and we'll give our final thoughts on Halo series season 1. But until then, these two gentlemen have a wonderful podcast that you should listen to from Panel the Podcast from Reiner, All Things Nintendo from Brian Shea. Please go check them out. They're some of the best nerd podcasts in the business. And I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, GI Show every Thursday. Like, share, and subscribe. It helps us a lot. And Alex and I have been talking about what we want to do for kind of the E3 Summer Games Fest season, and I think we're going to kick that off next week, which I'm excited about. So there's a little teasy tease there for you. So, but until then, thank you for watching. Be good to one another, and we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.